Welcome into the most important edition of Football Friday Night up to this point. I'm Jacob Seuss, and I'd say we're pretty winded, just like those players out there. We were working hard tonight.
Every week is the most important one because each game, as the season progresses, just becomes that much more important.
He said it. There you go.
Yeah, so great games, all with huge implications all across the state. And tonight, we're going to start things off with arguably the most important of them all in our 5 News Game of the Week.
Yeah, and it was a good one. Bentonville and Fayetteville, two fierce rivals in the 7A West, two undefeated conference records, and tonight, someone would take that next step toward the conference title. Get a ball game started. Yeah, that's how we do it. First, Tigers drive. They also brought a little music. Drew Wright, he's going to heave it over the middle. Chase Nimrod, we talk about him every week. He makes the grab, cuts back, and has nothing but daylight. One drive, one score, 7-0 Bentonville. The first Fayetteville drive, well, it wouldn't go the same way. Bladen Fike scrambling in the pocket, a lot of time, no one open. Jackson Hutchins, he's going to come away with the interception. Tigers score one play later. They were up by 2 scores early in the first quarter. Bentonville looking to make it 3 straight touchdown drives, but Josh Ficklin, normally great, but here he coughs up the ball. Fayetteville's Jackson Taylor, he's going to recover, and he's going to take it all the way down to the 1-yard line. Purple Dogs are going to punch it in on the next play. They trailed 14-7. But Ficklin, you know he's going to make up for it. The next drive, 1-yard touchdown. He scores, gives the ball to the ref, says hey to the Football Friday Night viewers out there. And tonight, it was about the Purple Dogs, though. Later in the half, Bladen Fike, he's going to find Jalen Blackburn across the middle. The senior fights his way into the end zone. And, folks, it would be all Fayetteville from there. They would run away with it from this point on. A statement win tonight for Casey Dick's Purple Dogs. Bentonville's conference win streak, it comes to a close. Let me tell you, this Fayetteville team is legit. They win 42-34.
So much talent on both of those teams. Now we head out to Gentry for a huge matchup in the 4-1A between 6-0 Gentry, 5-1 Shiloh. Both teams undefeated in conference play. Early on, Gentry with the ball. Chris Bell looking to throw, but it's snatched by Cooper Hutchinson. Jumped the route, and his pick sets up the Saints with great field position. So it's Shiloh ball. Ben Baker zigs, zags, just weaving his way for the 15-yard pickup, and that moves the chains for Shiloh. Later in the drive, kind of a crazy play here. Eli Wisdom bobbles the snap, but he keeps his composure, cuts it back to the other side of the field, and then he's beating everyone to the corner of the end zone. Saints strike first, 7-0. What would Gentry have for a response? How about this? Bell throwing it short to Ty Hayes, and Hayes says goodbye and see you later. 35 yards to the crib, and we've got a tie ball game. Next Shiloh possession, Gentry comes up with a big defensive play. Here's Zach Gunnerman, strips the ball, and then he recovers that fumble. They won't get any points out of it, though, and Shiloh makes them pay. Eli Wisdom on the QB keeper, and he says, meet me in the end zone. A long one, 60 yards for the touchdown. Shiloh, they go on to almost hang 50 points. They win this one 48-20. And when we return, we'll head to Northside, where the Grizzlies continue to go up against the best of the best.
Yeah, Northside and Conway, plus much more when we return here on Football Friday Night. Welcome back into Football Friday Night. We're going to head over to Charleston now, where the Tigers, they've been one of the best teams in the 3A1, sporting a perfect 6-0 record, but that doesn't mean they haven't had any challengers.
Nope. 2 weeks ago, a then undefeated Cedarville team took the Tigers down to the wire, and tonight it was Hackett's turn to try and put Charleston in the loss column.
6-0 Charleston, 5-1 Hackett. Let's head out to the home of the Hornets. First place on the line, all over the place tonight. Could the Hornets be the first team to hand the Tigers one in the loss column? But Charleston's Brandon Scott, yeah, he would have something to say about that. He's going to move to his right, shedding what would be tacklers. He's going to cut back to his left. Yes, this is what Scott does. Takes it 28 yards for the first score of the game. Can you say sweetest play right there? Tigers on top, 7-0. But he can also do it with his arm. He's the quarterback, and he can do it both ways. Here with a sidearm flick. Yeah, it's quite the play as well. Brighton Ketter nearly gets in. He's going to be out at about the 2-yard line there, but not to be denied. Brevin Ketter, he's going to take it in from close. Tigers convert the 2-point conversion. They have a 15-0 lead. But the Hornets finally show some life here. 4th and long, Ethan Slavins, Peyton Hester. That's a connection right there. Hornets on the board. It was 15-8. Hackett now looking to keep it going. But Slavins, well, it's not going to work out so well here. He's going to get picked off by Ransom Mercheka, and that would do it. Charleston is going to win this one 58, to 22.
All right, let's go back to the 7A. Rogers paying a visit to Bulldog Stadium to face Springdale. First possession of the second half. Mounties handed off to Josh Shepard. And Jacob, this is a guy that we talked about, and he just scores any day that ends on Y.
Former 5 News Athlete of the Week.
Well, there you go. Especially on Fridays, he likes to score. You're not going to catch him. All the way to the house. Long score makes it 28-0 Rogers. The Bulldogs, they actually showed some fight in the second half, though, after being down big. Ball near midfield. Landon Phipps keeps her on the QB sweep, and he flies down the sideline, just getting pushed out at the 5. But that's okay. That would set this up. Very next play, Phipps in. Number 5 goes in for 6. Bulldogs miss the PAT, so it's 28-6. They would force a couple of Rogers punts, so the Bulldogs looking to keep this drive alive on 4th down. But Isaac Chapman brings down Phipps for the sack. Rogers goes on to take the road dub, 37-21.
Now we're going to head over to Fort Smith. 5-1 Northside was playing host to 5-1 Conway. Yeah, this was a good game. Knotted up at 14 to start the second half. That's where we're going to pick things off. And it was a defensive struggle. Ty Massey, Northside's running back, swallowed up by Conway defenders here. They wouldn't get anything on the drive. Later on, Sunquist Churchy's going to spin away for one and breaks another before being brought down. But the Grizzlies can't pick up the first. They would miss the field goal. Ian Taylor tells me that would be an important miss. The Grizzly defense, now their time to shine. A host of defenders nearly end up Jamarian Carr. Conway looking to score, but Carr is upended here. Grizzlies would get the short field stop on the other end and hold Conway to a field goal, 17-14. Third down now, Conway looking to get some breathing room, but the ball tipped. Receivers flipped, and a pick. They're going to return it to the 23-yard line, and it would only take the Grizzlies one play. Massey, 23 yards. That gives Northside a huge 21-17 lead, only 5 minutes to go. So could they pull out the win?
That was a big boy run right there.
Big boy run. We love to see that here on Football Friday night. But guess what? Conway, they have an answer. They would come back scoring with 23 seconds left. Conway, they take this one. Final score 23-21.
A tough result, but in the 6A West, Siloam Springs playing host to Lake Hamilton. Lake Hamilton, they took a big early lead, but they wouldn't shut out the Panthers. Hunter Talley finds Jonathan Graves a nice catch over the defender, and then he gets in to get Siloam Springs on the board. Unfortunately for the Panthers, the rest was all Lake Hamilton. Handoff here to Justin Crutchmer, and he turns on the Jets. Take the 5 on his jersey and put a 7 next to it. A 57-yard scamper to the bank, and it's 42-7 Lake Hamilton. Lake Hamilton goes on to cruise in this one, 42-7 the final.
We had a lot of close games tonight. That was not one of them. And when we return, we're going to finish things off in the 7A West.
Yes, Harbor looked to improve to 3-1 in conference play tonight at Bentonville West. Highlights when Football Friday night returns.
Welcome back into Football Friday night. Last week, a thrilling win for the Harbor Wildcats over Springdale. They're now 2-1 in conference play.
That's right. And on the other side, Bentonville West put its 3-3 record on the line today at the home of the Wolverines. So let's head up to Benton County. The home crowd decked out in pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it was the Wolverines who would strike first. Opening drive, in fact. Dalton Rice swings it out to his man, Dakota Gaines, and Gaines does the rest. Down the sideline he goes, breaks a Harbor tackle, and he's in for the touchdown. West goes up 7-0. Harbor, they would respond on their first drive. 4th and goal for the Wildcats. Check out the effort from Donovan Simpson. Leaps over the pile of guys, and we're all tied at 7. Next West possession. The offenses, they were moving in this one. Rice throws the screen to Ty Durham. This is about the 3rd or 4th good gain on a screen just in the first quarter for West. That first down would lead to a field goal to make it 10-7. So now Harbor ball again. They're driving. Luke Buchanan looks left, and a great grab by Pete McKee, just leaping to make the grab and move the sticks. The Wildcats, they would convert just a few plays later. Buchanan here rolling out to his right, and then he'll eventually find Ethan Fender in the back of the end zone for the easy pitch and catch. It was a wild game that Bentonville West actually wins with a late touchdown, 46-45. What a win for for the Wolverines at home.
That's one of the best things about the 7A. It's kind of like the SEC, where anyone can win on any given day.
Some wild finishes, 1-point finishes like Arkansas Ole Miss last week. We've seen a couple of those in the 7A here in these recent weeks.
Yeah, and speaking of the SEC, of course, we've told you about it all week long. We have our 5 News kickoff show at 10:30 tomorrow, and you'll be joined by a pretty special guest.
Yeah, I think Hog fans are pretty familiar with former Hog head coach Houston Nutt. He'll be joining me. We chatted about what the keys for Arkansas and for Auburn and what Arkansas needs to do to bounce back with their first win in 3 weeks.
So a quick spoiler of what we are going to be talking about. One key tomorrow, how does Arkansas beat Auburn?
I think it's the one that everyone's talked about this week. Run the ball well and stop the run for Auburn. Bo Nix, if you can make him try to beat you with his arm, Arkansas is in a good position.
The Hogs, of course, looking to get back to 500 in SEC play, and we're going to tell you all about it on our 5 News kickoff show, 10:30 to 11. Jonathan and I, joined by our friends, a lot of special guests. It's going to be a good time, but until then, have a good night. We'll see you bright and early for Arkansas football tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night.